It was a black day for the Boro at West Ham on Sunday. Not totally unexpected, I think, but still very, very difficult to take. What made it all the more frustrating, particularly for the 1,250 travelling fans, was the fact that Boro went down with a whimper, really. They needed to set out with all guns blazing, needed to get at West Ham from the start. I mean, after all, we were looking at a game that Boro needed to win probably 4-0 if they were to have a chance of staying in the Premier League. What we got was a rather insipid, slow start, which in some respects handed the initiative to the Hammers. They took the lead. Boro did come out and respond a bit at the start of the second half, but once the second goal went in from Stanislas, there was only one outcome. Very, very frustrating and disappointing when Boro did try to get things going again in the last 15-20 minutes with Wheater up front. There really wasn't enough gas left in the tank to do anything about it. Very difficult to be sympathetic towards the team on the day because more wasn't expected. I think they were working to a game plan. I thought the game plan was the wrong one. I suspected the idea was to be tight and organised for as long as possible, really, and try and nick one, maybe nick another one after that, but really that to go out with all guns blazing, as I say, trying to win 4-0. If you got 2 goals in the first 15 minutes, it could have been a massive difference. Let themselves down on the day, but then I think everything was wrong leading up to it. I don't think anybody really believed that they were quite capable of oversetting the odds, upsetting the odds on a day like that, especially with needing results to go their way elsewhere, and it just wasn't to be. As I said, I thought the game plan was wrong. Again, you've got to point the finger at the manager for that. I thought that Gareth Southgate got a lot of things right during the season and a lot of things wrong. I don't think he was helped by things that did go wrong in terms of injuries at the wrong time. Very difficult to try and maintain a winning side. I thought that when things went disastrously wrong very quickly, around about December time, I don't think the team was primed for that. When the chips were down and they needed strong men, strong hearts, steel on the pitch, they just didn't have the players in the squad. The manager's heart was right in the first place. He tried to put together a side which was capable of playing football. I thought they did that in the first 2 or 3 months and things looked as though they were going all right. When the chips were down, those same players which had done well to get the team into 8th position in the league weren't strong enough mentally to deal with the slide. He didn't have the calibre of player who could come in and roll the sleeves up and make that difference. Boro could only try to get out of the situation by playing football, and it wasn't going to be enough. When the chips were down, they couldn't roll up their sleeves and battle and scrap in the way that the Stokes and Boltons could do, and this was always a big negative against the side. So in hindsight, we could see that the squad was wrong at the start of the season. I think he also made mistakes last summer. He had £10 million to spend. It was spent on Didier Degas, who wasn't fit when he arrived here. Marvin Emnes, who wasn't regarded as ready to go into the first team, yet he cost £3 million. And Justin Hoyt, who had injury problems throughout the season and took time to settle in. I think all 3 players have a lot of qualities and can add something to the squad next season, but next season is now too late because they've already been relegated. Overall, too many problems, too many mistakes to be able to cope with, and here we are now looking forward, staring at relegation and the season in the Championship. All in all, not good enough. I thought it was probably wrong that Gareth Southgate should have been given what was probably a vote of confidence before the outcome of the survival battle was known. Again, a negative. It took a little bit of pressure off when really the pressure should have been greater than ever. And here we are, it's all ended in tears.
Big job ahead.
There's a big job ahead, not just for Gareth Southgate, but for everybody at the club. Obviously there's pressure on the chairman to come up with the funding that's needed to make sure that Boro are capable of meeting a promotion challenge. If you look at the situation that Reading have encountered, where they're dismantling, you only really get 12 months to get it right, otherwise you drop down and become a typical championship side. So Boro have to get it right from the start, so then the pressure is on the manager to provide the funding, the chairman to provide the funding, and on the manager to make sure that he brings in the right players and gets the type of player within the squad that is capable of dealing with what's needed in this division. I don't think that Gareth Southgate has too much experience of life outside the top flight, but I think he's aware of the fact that they have to bring in players who have a bit of grit about them and have seen championship battles before and know what's needed to mount a promotion campaign and win them. It won't be acceptable if Boro finish outside the top 6 or 7. In fact, I think it won't be acceptable if Boro are not in the top 6 or 7 come November. That's why the players that come in must make an immediate impact. The team has to gel immediately. A lot of demands on everybody at the club. There's a big pressure there. If they get it right and we're up there, I think the fans will respond. I think they will come back. It's a long time since we've had a winning team at the Riverside, let's face it. I think they'll come back and support the team, get behind the club, and there's every chance if they can get it right that the momentum can be maintained, and maybe we'll have a happy ending at the end of this. But there are a lot of ifs and buts, a lot of requirements, and at the moment all the fingers are being pointed at the manager, quite rightly. He's got to get it right.